In this video, we will talk about bias blind spot. Failing to recognize our own cognitive biases is a bias in itself. We notice cognitive and motivational biases much more frequently in others than in ourselves. People with power are particularly vulnerable to blind spot bias. But what is power exactly? It is an asymmetrical control over resources by allocating or withholding them. It is the ability to influence other people's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. A superintendent has the power to override a decision made by a committee. A school principal holds more power than a janitor when the principal's teacher evaluation influences teachers' income. People at the higher level of management in organizations have more power than the ones at the bottom of organizational hierarchy. Power enables people to exert control over others, influencing their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. When we say A has power over B, it means A has more control over resources than B does. It also means A has the ability to influence B's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. People with power have self enhancing beliefs. They have elevated self esteem, inflated ego, stronger sense of control, and increased confidence, even to the extent of overconfidence. Occupying higher ranks in hierarchy increases psychological distance from others. Psychological distance is a subjective experience of separation that something is close or far away from the self, here and now. The self here and now are a reference point. The more egocentric leaders are, the longer the psychological distance is between leaders and others. These psychological effects of having power make it particularly difficult for leaders to see their own bias blind spots. What can we do about it? What about making decisions as a group so that the group members can see the blind spots of one another? Making decisions as a group does work, but it works only when the leaders are not controlling, not micromanaging, and are not overconfident in themselves. All these conditions of making shared decisions run against the psychological effects of power. Feeling powerful makes people listen less, more likely to dismiss other people's input, and even spend less time look at others. The psychological effects of having power amplify leaders' bias blind spots. If you are a leader and enjoy feeling more powerful than others, this is usually where a disaster begins. In this video, we talked about the bias blind spot. Failing to recognize our own cognitive bias is a bias in itself. The psychological effects of having power make it particularly difficult for leaders to see their own bias blind spots. Now it is time for you to provide an example of the bias blind spot and reflect on how it influenced the decisions made by you or the people around you.